You know that feeling, right? A school trip. It's supposed to be one of the best parts of the year. You get a break from class, you're with your friends, you think you're going to make memories you'll talk about forever. But what if those memories aren't the fun kind? What if they're about a night of absolute, suffocating terror?
So let me ask you this question you see on the screen. Can a school trip actually turn deadly? Well, for one group of students heading to the mountains, this question wasn't just a scary thought. It became their reality. This is the story of a journey that took a very, very wrong turn into a nightmare, one that not everyone was going to wake up from.
All right, let's get right into it. Every good horror story starts with everything being perfectly normal, doesn't it? You know, the calm right before the storm hits.
And the trip started out like a dream. I mean, picture it. The bus is just buzzing with energy. Kids are singing, sharing food from their lunchboxes. It's exactly what you'd expect. But then, reality hits, and it hits hard. That bus, which was running just fine, suddenly starts choking, smoke pouring from the engine, and it just grinds to a dead stop in the middle of absolutely nowhere. So, night is falling, they're stuck. The teachers have to make a call. They find the nearest hotel. But this isn't some nice, cozy little spot. No. This place was isolated, completely swallowed up by a dark, dense forest on one side and these huge, looming mountains on the other. It was the perfect stage for everything that was about to go down.
So you'd think they're safe for the night, right? Wrong. See, now we get to the part where this stops being an accident and becomes a choice. A really, really bad choice made by three friends that is going to change absolutely everything.
Inside one of the rooms, we've got our three main guys, Ayu, Aman, and Rohan. And as they're looking out the window into that pitch-black forest, something catches their eye. It's a little glimmer of water, deep in the trees. A mysterious lake that just seems to be calling out to them, almost pulling them in.
And this is just classic teenage thinking, isn't it? They'd heard these stories about other kids who did something crazy on a trip and became legends. So they come up with a plan. And it seems so simple. Sneak out, hike to the lake, snap one picture for proof, and get back before anyone even knows they're gone. They'd be heroes. What could possibly go wrong?
Well, this is the turning point. This is the moment their little adventure for bragging rights completely falls apart and turns into a desperate struggle to just survive. Because that forest is not friendly.
That lake that looks so close from the window? Yeah, it turns out it's miles away. They've been walking for over an hour, the path is gone, it is freezing cold, and of course, there's no phone signal. That initial thrill is completely gone. All that's left is this icy, creeping fear. They've made a huge mistake.
Just as Ayu and Aman decide, okay, we have to turn back, they look around for their friend. But he's not there. He's just gone. There was no scream, no sound of a struggle, nothing. 1 second, he was right behind them, and the next, it was like the forest just swallowed him.
They're frantically calling his name when they hear this weird sound, like someone digging. They follow it, and they find him. And what they see is just chilling. Rohan is on his knees in the dark, literally tearing at the frozen dirt with his bare hands, digging a hole that looks way too much like a grave. They call out his name, and he turns to look at them. The quote here says it all. His eyes had turned completely black. This wasn't their friend anymore. Something was deeply, horribly wrong. His eyes weren't just dark. They were pitch-black voids, like there was nothing behind them.
When Aman tries to grab him to snap him out of it, this thing that looks like Rohan attacks him with this crazy strength, sending Aman flying. But just as it turns to go after Ayu, it suddenly just seizes up and collapses, unconscious. For a second, just a second, they think it's over. But it's not. Not even close.
Rohan jolts awake, and the blackness in his eyes is gone, replaced by pure, absolute terror. But he's not looking at Ayu. He's staring past him at their friend Aman on the ground, and he starts screaming the words you see on the screen. She is inside Aman. The entity hadn't left. It had just jumped ship. And whatever is wearing Aman's face now, it doesn't stick around. It scrambles to its feet and just takes off, leading the other two boys on a terrifying chase deeper and deeper into the woods, straight towards the heart of whatever evil lives there.
They're chasing what used to be their friend, and he's running straight for this dark shape up ahead. It's a house, or what's left of one. It's this crumbling, ancient-looking place that looks like it's been rotting there for 100 years. But they have to save their friend, so they follow him inside. What they see upstairs, it just doesn't make any sense. A man is just floating. He's unconscious,
suspended in the middle of the room, and standing in front of him is this old woman, whispering to him, and her face, it's a nightmare. The same black eyes, skin just hanging off her bones, and this tangled mess of white hair.
They don't even think. They just run. They scramble down the stairs and they can hear her coming after them. They risk one look back, and the sight is just burned into their minds. The text here describes it perfectly. It says she was crawling like an insect. She's not walking, she's scuttling down those stairs, impossibly fast, her body twisting in ways it shouldn't.
They burst out of that horrifying house, running blindly through the forest, the sound of that thing crawling right behind them, and their desperate escape leads them to the story's tragic end.
In the cruelest twist of fate you can imagine, where do they end up running? They burst through the trees and find themselves right on the shore of the very same lake they were trying to find in the first place. The prize for their little adventure has just become the scene of their doom.
They trip, they stumble, they fall into that freezing water, and instantly something grabs them from below. An unseen force yanks them under. Ayu manages to fight it, to kick his way free. But when he breaks the surface, gasping for air, all he can do is watch in horror as Rohan is pulled down, down, down into the black water for good.
Ayu passes out from the shock and the cold. And the next thing he knows, he wakes up back in his hotel room. But it wasn't a nightmare. Outside, there are police cars everywhere, and he sees two bodies on the ground, covered in white sheets. The bodies of his friends, Rohan and Aman. And that's when the police start to hear the real, horrifying story of that forest.
So here's the legend the locals told the police. Years and years ago, that old house belonged to a woman who just lived by herself, but some villagers wanted her land. So they attacked her, they murdered her in her own home, and they threw her body into that lake. Her spirit never left. It's still there, filled with rage, waiting to take revenge on anyone who dares to trespass on her land.
The boys made a stupid, foolish choice, there's no doubt about that, but they paid for it with their lives. And their story leaves us with this one haunting question you see here. Will the curse of the lake ever end? It's a terrifying thought, isn't it? A single moment of teenage recklessness collided with a decades-old legend born from pure evil. And that vengeful spirit? She's still out there. Will that cycle of violence ever be broken? Or is she just going to keep claiming victims